I think something is gonna happen now. So this guy, this pickup truck was actually hooked up to the front of this Kaufman car hauling trailer. And when this guy showed up, so there's a tow truck pushing now the white pickup truck. So before, the tow truck was pulling everything, the pickup truck, and the pickup truck was still hooked up to the trailer. And so now they're trying to push this pickup truck. Yeah, sorry, it's my window is dirty. So the guy is backing, so the guy's in the pickup truck and he's backing, and this guy is inside and he's steering. And this is some scary stuff, because imagine, like, his wheels are right on the edge. Wow, his right wheel. So you must have nerves of steel to do this. But of course, yeah, he can jump out and take a look and see. Yeah, you see? So that's the tow truck over there, right? So the tow truck is pushing this thing over here. So he broke down, right? So the white truck broke down, so he cannot tow this whole thing. So now, I guess it'll be easier. So the tow truck, but actually, how is it gonna hook up? I don't think the tow truck has a fifth wheel for this. Anyway, I thought I would do like this quick video. The weather's gorgeous over here, but it's very cold. In the morning it was -8, and I already went to the truck stop probably, I don't know, 20 times to get coffee, to get my beef patties, and a fan from Flint showed up yesterday to take a look at my truck, and I said, I'm sorry, it's so dirty, you know, like, I don't think he even took any pictures. But he gave me a $20 gift card because he knew there's a McDonald's here. He says, I knew exactly what to bring you. Yeah, the sky looks gorgeous on this. I'm shooting with my Samsung Galaxy. So yesterday the truck stop was much busier, but yeah, now there's nothing. There's everything is wide open. You can park wherever you want, and the only other heavy haul guy is that, you see that kind of like reddish Volvo. That guy has some kind of a tracked machine, and he's using a single axle Jeep, and his trailer is a 3-axle Trident trailer. And that's a familiar name, of course, right? Kaufman. I had their, check this out. That's not nice. Come on. Like, I'm not charging anything. And all you see over here, it's basically dry vans. Yeah, dry vans. Over there, there's a reefer. And then one guy lost his trailer. And I see bobtail. Probably is not even aware that he has no trailer. And there's a cool looking truck over there in the distance, but I cannot make it bigger. Yeah, the problem with the Samsung, it doesn't have multiple cameras, I don't think. Actually, wait a second, it does have multiple cameras. How do I make it bigger? I don't see. Oh, no, that's exposure. Anyway, yeah, there's a green truck there. What is it? That's a W900 pulling a flatbed with those racks on the sides. But what I like about that one is that it had a shut up. So yeah, so today's Saturday, and like I said, it's very cold, and I was sitting in the truck and I did some exercises in the morning with my kettlebell. Feel pretty good, and then it looks sunny, like it looks kind of like spring, but it's not spring. So I think I just had my lunch. I had some 5 beef patties, but this time I tried not the small ones from Hamburgers, which are $1 each, but I tried the big one from a Quarter Pounder. And I should say that these are like $1.50 each, so $7.50 US for 5 patties. No bread, no nothing. But those smaller ones actually taste better. I think over here it's like too much fat or something, I don't know. But I had a bunch of meat for lunch, that's it. So now I think I'll just go wait till like 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm gonna grab my hiking poles or Nordic walking poles and just go. There's a road, and I checked on Street View to make sure that the shoulder is soft, because I lost one of my tips. So these are my telescopic carbon fiber poles, but you see now I only have this because I left the replacement one in my car, and so this one works great on slippery surface or on dirt. So if I start walking on a pavement, I'll just ruin this, right? And so I made sure that there's a shoulder, and so I'm just on 94, and if I go that way, kind of like north, I think, yeah, that's north, I found there's a church, there's a small river, and that's about 1 kilometer, like 0.8 of a mile. So that would be a good walk. So I don't even have to carry my phone with me. I'll know that it will be 1 kilometer that way, 1 kilometer back. And the good news about my border crossing is that I don't have to sit till Tuesday. I set up my border crossing for Monday because Friday I talked to a CBP officer, Canada Border Protection, in Port Huron, and I mentioned this before. I think the cool thing about US Customs is that you can actually find a phone number pretty easy for that particular port. You know, if you have a question, let's say, you can just call them, like any business or any government institution. All you do is just go to Google Maps and just increase the scale of the map till you see, let's say in this case it says Port Huron Customs and Border Protection, and you click on that, and of course that Google Maps will show you the phone number, right? And that's actually not like a generic phone number for the head office in Washington DC or wherever it might be, but that's actually the phone number for that particular crossing. So if you have a question, you can always call them. Again, US only. You can call them and ask. And I called the guy and I said, hey, yeah, because the guy answers the phone, like cops, right? CBP Port Huron. Like, you don't want to kid with this guy, right? And I said, hey, this is Canadian trucker SERGEI, what's up? No, of course I didn't say that. I said, hey, I'm a trucker from Canada. I'm moving a machine. It's an export into Canada. I got an ITN number. I said, would you mind checking my ITN to so I know exactly when I can show up in the border? And the guy says, well, that's not my job. That's not why we're here. Did you get the email from Port Huron office when it was after it was filed. I said, yeah. He says, when was it? What's the date and time? I said, that one. I think it was like Thursday, 4 p.m. that we received a confirmation email saying that they received this new filing for Port Huron, 72-hour notice. And this guy, well, that's it. So then you can cross in 72 hours. And I said, okay, so it's business days only, right? You don't count weekends. So Friday is day 1, Monday is day 2, and Tuesday is day 3. He says, no, weekends count as well, except that he says our export office is closed on the weekends. So the earliest you can cross is Monday, 8 o'clock. And I said, cool. I did not realize that they count weekends as well. So it's basically 72 hours. It's calendar 72 hours. And if you try this trick with Canadian Border Protection, which is called CBSA, Canadian Border Services Agency. So US is CBP, Customs Border Protection, and Canadian organization is called CBSA, Canadian Border Protection Agency, or Customs Border Protection Agency. Anyway, it's CBSA. So you do the same thing, right? Let's say you move your little cursor to the right of Port Huron and you look at Sarnia, Ontario, and you will see it says Sarnia CBSA. As soon as you click on that and you look for the phone number, no matter which location you look up on Google Maps, it's always the same number. And how do I know? Because I tried it. I had a question, like a legitimate question from a guy who's about to cross the border in a commercial vehicle. And so you call that number, and that's the head office, I think somewhere in Ottawa, Ontario, the capital of Canada, right? And you cannot get, like, there's a menu 20 minutes long, press 1 for this, press 5 for this, but there's no connection to the particular port. You know, if you to speak to an officer at the particular location, press this. No, it's all BS. Go to our website. You know, if you need any materials, go there, go here. So I like the American system better. So it's really, you know, helpful, makes it easy for travelers, especially. Well, there's no travel now. It's all commercial, but it's, you know, sometimes you have a question, right? But Canadians are just locked up. They locked up their system and threw away the key, so there's no way to talk to an officer at the border crossing. So unless you drive over there and ask him a question. Hold on, let me see how much time I have left. All right. For some reason, this camera, after I updated the software, only allows me 10 minutes. 10 minutes recording. I'm not sure what's going on, and so there's a timer there which shows me how much time I've recorded for and what I have left. And the last thing I wanted to say, so today I saw something interesting. I went to get coffee in the morning, and this Love's has one of those big great beans to coffee machines, you know, like where beans are grinded right in before you make your coffee. So it tastes way better than regular coffee. And I see there's a young woman there in front of me, and we're all wearing masks, of course, so I can only see her eyes, and she's doing the coffee thing, and then she's looking for the lid, and I point her where the lid dispenser is, and she's like, oh, cool, thank you. And then she pays in front of me at the counter, and then she goes out, and I was just curious to see what kind of car she's driving, right? And I see there's some Toyota, but there's a guy in there, much older, so I didn't think that she was with him. And then I see there's a... Yeah, sorry. And so then I see that there's a Ford, a small Ford car. And this girl is opening the door. And what was curious is that I noticed it was pretty far, you know, and the windows are dirty, kind of like in my truck. But the plate looked familiar, like the design, you know, the letters, and I kind of like tried to see better, and I was 100% positive that she had Ontario plate in a car in Port Huron, Michigan, you know. And I started we started talking with the clerk. I said, hey, I'm from Ontario too, and I said, recently I just called actually the CBP on the US side. I was asking them if it's cool if I just come across in my car to just pick up a package at the UPS just across the border, and the guy said no, essential traffic only. And so to enter here, so it's either you have to be an essential worker or you have to be a commercial trucker. And so we discussed the possibilities with the clerk, and we agreed that probably the girl was a nurse, because there's some Canadian nurses, you know, helping out the pandemic in the States, and they just travel across the border, and she might be just working at the hospital somewhere here. Or maybe she just lives here, just maybe moved before the pandemic, I don't know. But anyway, because of all this stuff going on with the COVID, right, it's pretty unusual to see a Canadian personal vehicle inside US, knowing that the border is closed to all non-essential traffic. And by the way, they're trying to close that loophole. Before, Canadian snowbirds, they found this trick where, you know, they wanted to go to Florida, but of course, like I said, you cannot travel in a personal vehicle across the border, so they would ship their vehicle to the next American town using one of those freight forwarders, and then they would fly on a helicopter or small plane to the town, pick up the vehicle, and keep driving. And so there was a couple of stories about this in the media, and so now Canadian Customs is they're saying, there was a news story recently saying they want to close that loophole, and so personal travel by air will also be restricted, because as we can see, things are not getting better, they're getting worse. Like more cases in the States, more cases in Canada. I don't know, maybe I should start wearing my my N95 mask. I have 10 of these, but I kind of like keeping them in reserve, or I'm just using my regular fabric masks. But recently I started putting 2 together, because, you know, I don't think one will work at all, so 2 is a bit better. Anyway, so that was my rant from Port Huron, Michigan. I hope you guys and gals have a good weekend. Enjoy the festivities, be cool, stay tuned, and check back on my channel soon. Ciao.